Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving into something really fascinating, a totally different way to teach grammar. It's a hands-on method that takes all those confusing rules and turns them into an actual game for young kids.
I mean, seriously, think about it. How do you explain what an adverb is to a 5-year-old, or a preposition? These are just abstract ideas. And for a little kid who learns best by touching and doing, those definitions, they usually go in one ear and out the other.
And that is exactly where the Montessori approach just flips the whole script. It stops treating language like a list of boring rules you have to memorize and instead turns it into this tangible, super engaging puzzle that a child can physically put together and solve.
So here's our roadmap. We're going to break down this grammar puzzle, look at the secret code of language, and then uncover the simple 3-step method for learning it. We'll even see it in action, all the way from a first lesson to building complex sentences. And finally, we'll talk about why this whole thing is such a game changer.
Okay, let's start with that first piece of the puzzle. The entire Montessori philosophy is really built on this one simple but incredibly powerful idea. You always start with what a child can see and touch, the concrete stuff, and then you build a bridge to the big, abstract ideas.
We're talking about kids around 5 to 7 years old here. And the goal? It's not about cramming for a test. Not at all. It's about building this deep, intuitive feel for how sentences actually work. And you do that by physically moving symbols and words around. It's learning by doing, which, as we know, just wires the brain for a much deeper level of understanding.
So, to make a language something you can actually hold, the Montessori method gives kids this amazing sort of secret code, a set of visual keys that unlock the structure of pretty much every word they'll encounter.
And here they are. This is the secret code. These 9 symbols are the actual tools a child gets to work with. Each shape, each color stands for a different part of speech. It literally turns these invisible ideas into real, tangible building blocks they can use to construct sentences.
Now, the really brilliant part is how each symbol just makes intuitive sense. Think about it. A noun is this big, stable black triangle, kind of like a pyramid, right? It stands for a solid thing. But the verb, that's a dynamic red circle, like a ball of energy, showing action. The adjective is a smaller triangle that's related to the noun, and the adverb is a little circle that modifies the verb. It's a whole visual system that just clicks. Okay, so we've got the tools, the symbols, but how do you actually teach with them? Well, behind this whole system is a really simple but incredibly effective 3-step method for introducing any new concept.
It's called the 3-period lesson, and it's so smart. First, the adult just names something. This is a noun. That's it. No pressure, the child just takes it in. Second, the adult asks the child to point it out. Show me the noun. This checks for understanding without putting them on the spot. And only when they're totally comfortable do you move to step 3, which is recalling. What is this? It's this gentle, step-by-step process that builds real confidence.
All right, so let's put all the pieces together. Let's see how this actually plays out in a child's very first grammar lesson, starting with the 2 most basic building blocks of any sentence, nouns and verbs. The lesson starts with something totally real. You might take a little toy car, put it on a mat, and say, "This is a car. Car is a noun." And then you place that black triangle symbol right above it. Then for a verb, you do something. You walk across the room and say, "I am walking." Walk is a verb, and you place the red circle down. You see? You're directly connecting an abstract word to a real object and a physical action.
And this is where the magic happens. You put the 2 together. The child sees the car, they see it roll, and they connect it to the sentence, "The car rolls," with those symbols right on top. And that's the light bulb moment. They can physically see how a thing and an action team up to create meaning.
So once that foundation is solid, that's when the real fun begins. This is where the child gets to switch from just being a learner to being a creator, using these grammar symbols as little prompts to build bigger and way more interesting sentences.
So you'd start with something super simple, just a noun and a verb. The bird sings. Now we can use our secret code of symbols to ask questions and really expand this idea.
So you could ask, what kind of bird is it? A child might say, a little bird. Great. So we add the word little, and we physically place that dark blue adjective symbol right above it. And just like that, the sentence has more detail.
And you can just keep going. Well, how does the bird sing? Let's add an adverb. Maybe it sings sweetly. Perfect. We add the word and we put that little orange circle, the verb's buddy, right on top. The child is literally, visually building a sentence and seeing how every single part of speech adds a new layer of detail and meaning. It's so cool.
So what's the big takeaway here? Why is turning grammar into this physical puzzle so incredibly effective for young kids?
It all comes back to this one core idea. The goal is to build a deep, intuitive understanding of how language is built, instead of just relying on rote memorization. It's about feeling how language works from the inside out, not just memorizing rules you'll forget after a test.
And the long-term payoff is huge. This isn't just a grammar game, right? It's the foundation for so much more. It sparks creativity. It builds the muscles you need for strong reading comprehension, and it encourages kids to become better, more confident writers. And because you assess by watching them, not by giving them a stressful test, the child actually develops a positive and curious relationship with language itself. So at the end of the day, this whole approach leaves us with a really powerful thought to chew on. What if grammar wasn't this scary set of rules we all have to memorize, but what if it was just a game to be played? It really makes you think that maybe the best way to teach the logic of language isn't with a red pen and a rule book, but with a bit of curiosity, a few colorful shapes, and the simple freedom to play.